Good morning and welcome back again to Concerned Citizens Media. Uh, I have some news and videos to share with you for today. Here are the news and the Concerned Citizens Media comment for January 18, 2021. The Asimba Democratic Party criticized and trashed the delegation team led by Oromo traditional leaders or Abba that brought aid for the Tigray region. The Asimba Democratic Party said that Abba troops and their aid assistance to the Tigray region is motivated uh, by politics rather than humanitarian. The Asimba party said these Oromo traditional leaders have never expressed their opinion and never provided aid for Oromos suffering for more than 2 years under Abiy Ahmed's command posts. The Abaga's message to Tigrayans with this trip and aid, according to Asimba party, is to silence or bury the politics of the Tigrayans. It is a strategy designed by Abiy Ahmed to defeat the region's political resistance against the ruling Prosperity Party in the future. So that is the interpretation of the uh, Asimba party, Asimba Democratic Party, which is centered in Tigray. So he said Abagada strips is not humanitarian, it is political. If they are humanitarian, where were they when the Oromos are suffering under Abiy Ahmed's command post? It makes sense. So somebody should help his own people first before going that far to help others. So their interpretation, it makes sense. Abiy Ahmed is training a special squad that can be dispatched to the neighboring countries like Kenya to conduct undercover operations, especially against Oromos who believed to be supporting Oromo Liberation Front or Oromo Federalist Congress Party. This operation is designed to kidnap high-profile targets and any government opponents from Kenya and put them back in Ethiopian jails or possibly murder them in cold-blooded way without leaving any traces of evidence. Similar operation was practiced in the past by Tigrayan Liberation Front in the last 27 years. The Oromo diaspora community in Kenya and other neighboring countries are advised to be alert about these undercover operatives that might also speak Afan Oromo. So that is very dangerous move by Abiy Ahmed and the Prosperity Party to adopt TPLF style of killing squad. That is credit for Oromo Media Network. So Oromos should be careful about making friends with with somebody they don't know, even though they may speak your language. The confrontation of mobs has been reported in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. According to the information circulating on social media, groups of youth mobs are confronting each other at around Bethel, Addis Ababa. It seems the Christian mob is attempting to erect a cross and the controversial former Ethiopian flag, which has red, yellow, and green colors. So they try to erect that and the cross in front of the mosque. It is a provocative act designed to incite religious conflict in Addis Ababa and beyond. Gunshots were heard at this confrontation and the people were running for lives. The federal police were reluctant to interfere and settle this very dangerous mobs act in the capital city, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Last week, the American embassy in Ethiopia issued the security alert for Entoto, Yekka, and Gulale. Chaos and instability are rising everywhere in Ethiopia under Abiy Ahmed's leadership. Plus, the war in Benishangul, Gumuz, and the Tigray region, plus the border tension with Sudan have no ending sight. Ethiopia might need international intervention before things get out of control and before it becomes a failed state. The head of Sudanese ruling council issued ultimatum to Ethiopia on border tension. The speaker is the head of the Sudanese Sovereign Council, Abdul Fattah al-Burhan, and he made this speech after visiting area with Ethiopia in Al-Qadarif state after an Ethiopian warplane crossed into Sudanese airspace. So let's see the short video, then it is in Arabic, the video, then I have the translation in English. This is 3 minutes and 20 seconds. It's in Arabic, but I have the translation.
لكن ظروف البلد وظروف السودان هي اللي خلتنا نحن نجي في الموقف ده وانتم الله اكبر احنا جينا لاحقين احنا الوطن دي حقتنا الارض دي حقتنا نحن زي السودانيين صحيح في فتره من الفترات ناس نفرطوا فيها لكن احنا ثاني ما بنفرط فيها الله اكبر بنفرط فيها نحن برانا انتم بيكم انتم ديل بيكم انتم احنا ما بنفرط ثاني في الوطن دي صبرنا كثير جدا 25 سنه احنا صابرين وساكتين ومستحملين الاذى والنظف والتهديد. كل من هب ودب هددنا ويخوفنا ويتكلم عننا كلام ما تمام في حقنا وفي حق بلدنا.
Al-Burhan, the head of the Sovereign Council of Sudan.
واحنا ساكتين نعاين ومتعطين روسينا. نحن حنسكت ليمتين وحنعاين ليمتين وحنصبر ليمتين. كل حاجه عندها حل. ده ارضنا وده حقنا ونحن نموت هنا كلنا نموت هنا ده. القاعده المستديمه الثاني ما في زول يقدر يتطاول عليه ولا في زول يقدر يقول له انت امشي دي ما حقتك. والشيء اللي حصل لاخواننا قبل بدايه الشهر هنا ده قدروا بهم قتلوا مننا 5 ولا 7 عساكر هنا ده غدر وخيانه. احنا ما كان اصلا متوقعين انه يحصل بيننا اي ضرب ولا اي نوع من انواع العنف مع جيراننا في اثيوبيا. امس كتلوا نسواننا وقبل كده كتلوا المزارعين حقنا وحرقوا اراضينا وشالوها قطعوها مننا، وهسه امس بيتكلموا بيقولوا الاراضي دي ما سودانيه، وبيتكلموا بيقولوا السودان مش دخل في اراضيهم. الارض دي سودانيه، شاء من شاء وابى من ابى، الارض دي سودانيه كل زول. لكن احنا دمنا دم ناسنا ودم اهلنا ما رخيص، واراضينا ما رخيصه، عشان كل زول يستبيحها وكل زول يسرح ويبرح فيها على كيفه. نحن يجب ان نقيف وقفه كلنا وقفه صلبه ونقيف كلنا مع بعض عشان نحمي الوطن ونحمي ناسنا ونحمي اهلنا. نحن دي ارضنا وعندنا الحق المشروع فاننا ندافع عنها ونحميها بالوسائل كلها، الوسائل كلها متاحه لنا اننا ندافع عن السودان وندافع عن ارض السودان. نحن ما تعدينا على زول ولا تخطينا حدودنا، والحدود لسه قدام ثاني 7 كيلو من هنا ده، ومن كل المناطق وادنا المشهد دي اصلا ما تخطت اي حدود ولا دخلت في وطن حق الزول. ونحن عندنا كثير من الاتفاقيات مع دول الجوار مختلفه. احنا بدينا هنا ده لينا انا براي لي اكثر من 10 سنين قاعد اتفاوض، فانه والله تعالوا بالتي احسن ازرعوا، تعالوا نديكم اراضي ازرعوها، تعالوا نقنن لكم ونوضعكم، تعالوا نضع قوات هنا مشتركه تحمي المزارعين، لكن ما في استجابه لطلباتنا، ما في.
The entire presidency has been
Okay,
I think you mostly remember
that is the Sudanese side of the claim about the border tension between Ethiopia and the Sudanese. So let's listen, let's read what he was saying thanks to the RTV or Russian television translation of the Arabic speech into English. Here is the translation. The speaker is the head of the Sudanese Sovereign Council, Abdul Fattah al-Burhan. He made this speech after visiting area with Ethiopia al-Qadarif state after an Ethiopian warplane crossed into Sudanese airspace. Al-Burhani said, "We have been patient for so long, for 25 years now. We have been patient and quiet and enduring the harm and the threats. Everyone has tried to threaten us and intimidate us and says bad things against us and against our country. But there is a limit for everything." This situation here was never something that we aimed for, and we never accepted that we reach this. But the condition of Sudan are what forced us to come stand here. This land is ours, we Sudanese. It is true that at some point our people gave it up, but we will not do that. We will not give it up because this is your home, and we will not give up your home again. Al-Burhani said, "The blood of our people will not go in vain, and our land is not for sale for whoever to come and take it and do whatever they want with it. We all need to stand together to protect our land and our people." Al-Burhan added, "This is our land, and we have the right to defend it and protect it with all possible means. We never attacked anyone, never crossed our boundaries. The borders are 7 kilometers from here. Not a single one from our military unit crossed that, al-Burhani concluded. So that is the claim on the Sudanese side. So, but I don't think that is true. According to various media reports, the Sudanese crossed about 40 kilometers deep into Ethiopian territories, and they chased out the residents, killed some of them, destroyed their properties, and looted their properties. So what he's saying is, I don't think has uh, some truth. He just claiming that he didn't cross, Sudanese didn't cross into Ethiopian territory, and they didn't claim anybody's land. So that is the situation. And Ethiopia so far is uh, uh, conducting a silent diplomacy, saying we're gonna resolve this peaceful means. I don't know, unless this guy changed his stand on these issues, unless he changed the claims he's making. You know, he they are saying they didn't cross into Ethiopia's border. So that's a challenging situation, and Ethiopia is tied itself with domestic conflict, Tigray war, Benishangul war, Oromia region war, and some other instabilities in other areas. So probably Ethiopia is buying more time to settle domestic conflict first, then get ready to come to the issue with Sudan. Probably that may be a strategy. So far is Ethiopia is silent and using diplomacy. Uh, Probably they don't want to lose the Tigray war, because of if they take the military to war with Sudan, they may lose the domestic agenda, the domestic intention of Prosperity Party to dominate the country. So it's remained to be seen. That's the claim on the Sudanese side, and we're going to follow it, and I will report to you. Okay, today is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and it is commemorated with the National Day of Service. It is Monday. It's already Monday, so on January 18. So everyone is encouraged to volunteer for various services, donate for the needy, and do whatever he or she can to give back to to her community or your community. So it's a day of service. If you have just do whatever to remember Dr. Martin Luther King on this day of service and give back to your community. The 75-year-old Yoweri Museveni declared the winner of Uganda controversial election for the 6th term. His opponent, Bobi Wine, claimed the election is full of irregularities and fraud, and he vowed to protest it in all possible ways. Bobi Wine is still under the house arrest by the country's military. The African Election Watch Group also said this election was not fair and free after observing several polling stations. Yoweri Museveni used all the country's resources to intimidate, threaten, torture, arrest, even kill the opposition supporters. Yoweri Museveni is an example of the status quo that is harder to replace in Africa by peaceful means. Bobi Wine promised to bring hopes and change for the country's youth, but that all is blocked for now by unfair election defeat in that country. So that is, we anticipated uh, that highly motivated artist guy, who's a rapper. He could, possibly win and unseat the 35 years service of Yoweri Museveni. But unfortunately, that is the democracy in Africa. Your candidate is kept in house arrest and the election is going on. That is the democracy in Africa. That is the one Mr. Trump tried to create in America. So for now, it is declared Yoweri Museveni is the winner of Uganda's election for the next 5 years. And Bobi Wine and his supporters say they're going to continue peaceful protest and legal avenues to against this victory. So I don't know how much they will be successful. For now, it looks like over. He used all the military, the police to intimidate and to rig the election. Okay, that's the reading part. Let's see. Let's share some videos and finish today's. So the first one is Uganda's election. Let's go over there.
Sign this declaration form if we are allowed.
Uganda's Electoral Commission says the longtime leader Yoweri Museveni has officially won a 6th term as president, extending his 35 years in power. Officials announced their final results just moments ago. And according to their tally, the 76-year-old won 58.64% of the vote. His main challenger,
Bobi Wine and his wife,
but alleges the election has been rigged and says soldiers are preventing him leaving his house.
Candidate Yoweri Museveni Kaguta, having obtained the highest number of votes in the election, and the votes cast in his favor being more than 50% of the valid votes cast at the election, the Electoral Commission declares Yoweri Museveni Kaguta elected President of the Republic of Uganda.
Captain Soy joining us from Kampala. So many not really surprised that Museveni has been declared the winner. Talk us through the results and the reaction.
Well, absolutely. This was widely expected. President Museveni has been leading with a wide margin from the very start, and the voter turnout was 10 million of the 18 million registered voters. That's 57% of the total registered voters. Now, Bobi Wine, you mentioned him there, has already rejected this result, and joining me now is his representative here at the Tally Center. Thank you very much, Benjamin Katana, for joining us. Are you going to sign the declaration form?
Thank you very much. We can only sign this declaration form if we are allowed to put our reservations on the same form. Because tomorrow when we take other measures, we do not want them to say that we are not at the Tally Center. Because we have been here, we have observed what has been happening, and we'll receive the results. If we are allowed to comment and indicate our reservations about the whole process, then we can sign but indicate those reservations.
What reservations do you have about the process, especially this tally process?
The entire tally process has been conducted in a very dark and lacked transparency. We, from the beginning, were assured by the Electoral Commission that each candidate, whether
agents would receive copies of the results from the district before they are transmitted to the National Tally Center, that we are able to verify when they are reading here. That was not done because, first of all, internet has been switched off, but we are not even given a hard copy. So the entire process here has been reduced into a region where we sit and the commission reads fabricated figures without indicating they are from which polling station, from which district. But they only read that this one has this percentage, the other one has that percentage, but they do not show us where that percentage has come from, which we contest.
Bobby Wine has rejected this result. He says that he has evidence of widespread rigging in favor of President Yoweri Museveni. What evidence does he have? He hasn't shown journalists that evidence.
We, first of all, have had agents across the country. Many of them were arrested on the polling day. Others were chased away from the polling station. However, through some of the agents who stayed at the polling stations and the vigilant citizens, we have been able to collect results from across the country, and at an appropriate time, we'll be announcing them to the people of Uganda. What is being announced here is an attempt to undermine the will of the people of Uganda. The consent to govern must be obtained through a free and fair election.
And what are you going to do next? Are you going to go to the Constitutional Court to challenge this?
The legal framework in Uganda gives us a number of opportunities and options through which we can contest this unfair process. And going to the Supreme Court is one of the options. But like our leader has mentioned through the campaign, we look at this election as part of a revolution to liberate the people of Uganda from the yoke of dictatorship that they have endured for the last 35 years. There are several options, and we undertake to provide leadership to the people of Uganda to pursue liberation, and we ask them to stand firm and work with us to explore all the options under the legal framework of Uganda to make sure that we stop this coup.
The options that you're talking about, does that include calling people to come out to the streets to demonstrate?
And we don't have to call them. It is their will that is being snatched. So Ugandans have a right, if they feel that that is one of the ways through which they can express their discontent, they have a right to do so, provided they are doing it in accordance with the law. And I think in preparation for this rigging, you saw the massive deployment and show of force on the streets of Kampala and other districts of Uganda. It was driven by the guilt of the incumbent who has undermined all state institutions, and in a process like this one, they are all working in a partisan way on his side. So the intention has been to intimidate the people of Uganda so that when this rigging takes place, then they are not able to come out and express their dissatisfaction with the manner in which the process has been conducted.
Bobby Wine says that his house has been surrounded by the military. We've seen that as well. But he also says that he's not been allowed to leave, and visitors and journalists are being blocked from accessing his compound. What do you make of this? Have you talked to him?
I spoke to Bobby Wine a while ago, and I can confirm that his movements are restricted. He's not allowed to leave his home, and visitors are not allowed to enter, which in effect indicates that he's under detention, house arrest, and his home is not a gazetted place of detention, which is illegal in itself. And it also shows that part of the scheme to rig and undermine the democratic process is take away the leaders, keep them away, intimidate the citizens, switch off internet, censure the media, which they have done effectively. That's why no local station now can go and interview Bobby Wine.
Security officials that I've spoken to here are saying that the reason they've done that, blocking access to his home, is because he wants to announce a parallel result. He wants to announce that he has won the election.
Security agencies in Uganda, you need to understand, have been undermined. They are partisan, contrary to the constitution of the Republic of Uganda. They are partisan, and they have been doing politics on behalf of Mr. Museveni throughout this process. Therefore, their statements have a context, and the context is that they want to aid him in carrying out a coup against the constitutional process.
All right, thank you very much. That was Bobby Wine's representative here at the Tally Center, who says that they reject this result. And in a few hours, we're going to be hearing from the president himself, Yoweri Museveni, who's going to be addressing the nation.
Okay, Catherine, we'll speak to you as and when that happens. Thank you very much for the time being. Catherine updating us from Kampala, Uganda. Let's bring in Agnes Gito, who's the managing partner at Africa advisory firm GBS Africa. She's joining us from London. Thanks very much for your time. So the representative of Bobby Wine was just telling our correspondent, Catherine Soy, that Museveni is trying to basically undermine the will of the people in Uganda, and with the opposition and Bobby Wine's party claiming fraud and rejecting these elections, what happens next? Are you concerned about the potential risk for post-election violence?
Managing your money has typically been complicated, time-consuming, and costly, but you deserve better. M1 is the finance super app.
Thank you very much, Jerry, for having me. Look, no surprises there. Another term for Museveni. He joined the ranks of African leaders who've been in power for over 30 years. Potential for instant political instability and process would depend on what the opposition party does now. They have already contested this election, saying it was marred with fraud and irregularities. So it's what
Yes, as Yoweri Museveni is voting.
The legal framework that is in Uganda, there's a likelihood that there will be violence. And we saw yesterday, Ugandans went to the polls, queued for long hours, showing that there is some sort of belief in the democratic process. But there is in every African election, it is what happens once the people have voted, how the election commission sort of carry this out in determining the winner. But there are no surprises there, as Catherine says. It's another term for President Yoweri Museveni for Uganda.
So what will the opposition do next? From your experience and your monitoring the situation, what are their options?
So the option will be just using the legal framework that is available. That's the only peaceful solution they have. However, Jaren is saying that they have lost the presidential ticket, but in the constituencies, in parliament, there are new faces. Incumbent like the vice president of Uganda, who is a long-time ally of President Museveni, has been in power in parliament since 1994, has lost his parliamentary seat in his constituencies. Other key cabinet ministers, including ministers for trade, ICT, state minister for agriculture, they've all lost their parliamentary seat to young and visionary leaders. To me, that is a win for Ugandan people. Hopefully they bring a voice and leadership into Uganda's parliament. I think presidential ticket has been lost, but I think they should look beyond that. How can they effect change from parliament?
And if there is any sort of instability in the country, how will that affect the region and the countries surrounding Uganda?
Uganda is an important country for the region. It is highly connected with the DRC, South Sudan. President Museveni is the guarantor of peace for South Sudan, for example. The northern part of Uganda, the northern corridor, is a key transit route for trades and goods across the region in East Africa. So therefore, instability in Uganda is likely to impact the region. And again, Uganda is a key trade ally for Kenya. So yes, the region would prefer a peaceful and stable Uganda, and instability in Uganda obviously causes havoc across the region.
All right, Agnes Gitan, we thank you so much for speaking to us from London.
Thank you.
Germany's ruling party has elected a new leader. Armin Laschet has been chosen as the new head of the Christian Democratic Union. That makes him the top contender for chancellor in elections later this year, as Angela Merkel steps aside after 16 years in power.
Okay, that's
I'm aware of the responsibility of this job.
that's Uganda's election, and the short one is about Germany. Angela Merkel may be leaving the office, so Thanks to Al Jazeera for that reporting. The next one is okay. The one I talked about, the maps in Addis Ababa try to erect a cross and a flag in front of the mosque. This video is disturbing, so don't share with the kids. You can hear gunshots and people's voice. Horrible to hear this in Addis Ababa. Let's see. Okay. There we go. So that's repetition. Anyway, that's Addis Ababa. In the area is Bethel area, Bethel unknown Bethel. So they say, as reported, confrontation started at in front of the mosque. Two groups came. One group is probably followers of Orthodox, try to erect a cross and a controversial former Ethiopian flag which has red, green, yellow color. So probably the gunshots could be the police maybe using to disperse the group. But on other social media, these two groups came face to face, and the security guard, the police, just standing idle, not acting to disperse at that time. So it's horrible, it's challenging. I don't know which direction this country is heading. So the last video for today is our future challenge. The future challenge for incoming administration. North Korea again with a heavy weapon. Let me see. North Korea.
Is WGU accredited? Yes.
No.
WGU is accredited by both national and regional accreditors. That means Coming after a rare congress of the ruling party, And before a gathering of its Supreme People's Assembly, this was North Korea on parade. Its leader, Kim Jong-un, has admitted his country faces extreme economic problems, in part because of isolation from the global pandemic. But the densely packed ranks of soldiers were another illustration of his country's claims of being coronavirus-free, and that it remains a potent nuclear-armed state, showing off the kind of military hardware that it has largely hidden away during the recent years of
This
solid
is a
diplomacy.
challenge for
The sacred path we're following
the
will lead our
world,
socialist
including
Korea to
for
be
the
more
United
powerful
States.
and
How you
prosperous.
gonna deal with this all
The star attraction, what is
nuclear
claimed to be
heads,
a new
nuclear
type of
weapons?
submarine-launched
Look
ballistic
how it
missile,
looks like.
possibly a direct challenge to the incoming administration of
Yeah.
US President Joe Biden. The question for many analysts is whether North Korea might be tempted
Yes,
to show the potential
beautiful.
of such new weapons with a return to provocative missile testing. If North Korean leadership is so cornered and so frustrated, then we cannot rule out the possibility that North Korea will take a wrong path, at least at the beginning of the Biden administration, mainly in order to get the attention from Washington to restart negotiations with the United States. In recent speeches, Kim Jong-un has made it clear he intends to push ahead with further development of his nuclear arsenal. That doesn't necessarily put him on a collision course with the US and a return to the acrimonious relations of the past, but it does confirm, if confirmation were needed, that the recent period of face-to-face summit smiles is officially over. Rob McBride, Al Jazeera, Seoul.
Okay, that's North Korea, and it is nuclear weapons and a challenge for the United States and the global community. How you gonna deal with it? How you gonna settle the issue? You can. They don't care about sanctions. They don't care. They do whatever they're supposed to do to defend themselves. So how you gonna live together? They already have the weapons. You, you can trick them or you can force them to dismantle. So you have to find a way to live with it peacefully. They tried before, it didn't work. It didn't work. Even the best deal maker was not successful. He went there, he shake his hand, talk to them. After that, it's done. No deal at all. So we'll see how the Biden administration settle the issue with this, and Iran. Iran is also on the way to have one. So countries are threatened, feel as insecure. That's why they're running to have nuclear bomb. They see their neighbors attacked, occupied by foreign forces like Iraq, Libya, Syria. If this country have the power with a nuclear head, nobody will come close to them. So the insecurity forced these people to do something to defend themselves. That is the challenge for the global community. So we will see, we will follow it, and we'll bring to you as soon as we get something new. That's all I have from Concerned Citizens Media. Thank you for your time again. I will be back with other news and videos, and you can share if you have some factual information news. Send it to my email, birke663@gmail.com. You can comment on my video, share, like, so we can grow together. Thank you. So long, everyone.